Okay. Hey guys, I am coming to you with 11 common mistakes to avoid when starting your business. I got my notes here with me because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything when I'm talking to you, because these 11 things are really going to stifle your growth as an entrepreneur, and they're not really going to allow you to grow your business. So let's jump into it. Number one, not validating your business model. A lot of people come up with these business ideas and they don't actually do the research behind it to see if it's plausible or not. Like, is it realistic for you to do this at this time? So, not to say that if you have a really big dream that it can't happen. It can always happen. Anything is possible. It's all up to you and the amount of work that you put in. But you have to be realistic with where you're starting at. So if you wake up one morning and you say, hey, I want to own a 6-figure business, but I work 12-hour days already and I'm not going to be able to work on my business for more than 3 to 4 hours a week, then it's not realistic. You've got to give yourself a smaller goal to get to first. So validating your idea and making sure that it's realistic with what you have going on is super important. Here's another angle at validating your idea. You have to make sure that it's something that can actually be done. So, for example, if you say, hey, I want to sell water to fish, it's not really realistic. I know that example was like really obvious, but you know what I mean. So, you just have to think like, okay, has this been done before? And it's okay if it has been done before. A lot of people will look things up and they'll say, oh, I had that idea, but somebody's already doing it. It doesn't mean that you can't make money doing it. It just means that it's realistic. It's possible to do. So number one, not validating your business model will really kill your income. Number two, not adjusting to what customers want. If you decide that you're going to go into business for one reason, but then you start attracting a different type of clientele, it may be a signal that you need to adjust what you're doing. It's okay that as you grow in your business, you alter a little bit more to fulfill the needs of customers. So for example, I originally started out as a copywriter and I worked mostly with businesses that had already been successful for many years and just needed to get some of that work off of their plate. But as I got onto Instagram and I built my own website and I started teaching, I really started attracting new business owners and startups because I just happen to be really good at explaining things and breaking things down. So instead of being rigid and being like, no, I'm a copywriter, I'm always going to be a copywriter, I decided to bend a little bit and give the customer what they want, because there's a lot of people out there that want to start a business, but the resources are not ample enough. There's not enough direction. We don't know what order to do things in, like you may know what you need to do. Someone's told you, you got to do this, 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 and this, but what order do you do it in? When do you do it? How do you do it? So I had to adjust, just like you may have to adjust if you find that you are naturally attracting a different type of audience. Don't feel like you're abandoning your first idea. Think of it more as you're really operating in your purpose because you're allowing the world to shape your pathway. Number three, starting other businesses too soon. I see this one a lot. You should really only be building one business at a time, especially if you're in the beginning stages. I tell people it's better to give all of your focus to one thing than to split your focus in between two things. There's only 100% of you. So you can't give 100% to two different businesses at the same time. So if you're only giving, 40% to one business and 60% to another business, then that 40% is only going to grow 40% as fast. That 60% is only going to grow 60% as fast. So it's less overwhelming for you. It's less stressful for you, and it makes more sense for you to pick the business idea that is the lowest hanging fruit. This is an issue that entrepreneurs deal with a lot. Even after you already started your business, you're going to start to realize, oh my gosh, I'm having ideas every single day, like new ideas. And sometimes it aligns with your brand. And if it aligns with your brand, it aligns with your company and what you're currently doing and your mission, then you can just incorporate it into what you're already doing. But if it does not align and it ends up being like, okay, this is a completely separate business, then you're going to have to give it up, or at least put it on the back burner. You can get a notebook like how I have and write it in there and write those ideas down so that later on down the line, when you do have the energy to have a second business or third business or fourth business, hopefully, when you do have the energy for that, you'll actually have the logistics and the ideas already set aside. But for now, only focus on your one business. I promise you it will grow a lot faster when you focus. Number 4, not having a clear elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is something that we normally hear when we talk about networking and interviews and climbing the corporate ladder, but it also applies in business. You won't necessarily be giving your elevator pitch as you go to networking events. You can if you want, but it's not necessarily something you're going to be doing. It's more of you need to know what you do, because if you're not clear on what you do, it's going to translate into everything you create. So if you say, like I started out as a copywriter, so I was really clear, like I'm a copywriter and I create content. I don't really do anything outside of that. So for me, at me knowing that, it was easy for me to produce content, and people weren't asking me constantly, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? I mean, they were asking me if they didn't know me, but it's not like they were following me and they were asking me. So when you're confused about what it is you actually offer and what it is you don't offer, then that comes out in your posts. So people can actually see that. It's not necessarily like something that you have to say, but people can see like, okay, she's a little confused, so I'm a little confused. Yesterday, she said she did social media management. Now she's saying she doesn't do social media management. She only does website building. So you need to be really clear on what you do. It just so happens that writing an elevator pitch is an easy way to make sure that you know that. So if you can write an elevator pitch and it's clear and concise, that's awesome. If you're not there yet, that's okay. I'll get to that later on down the line. Number 5, focusing on revenue instead of profits and not having a clear revenue model. Okay, so not necessarily that you're focusing too much on money. It's that you're focusing on the income that you're bringing in. So let's say if your website costs $30 and you're only making $25. Yeah, it's great that you're making $25, but you're losing $5 a month. So you have to really, this step is more of you really need to know what's going on with your money. You need to have a clear definition of what's going in and what's coming out. So that means writing down all of your business expenses, even if you just went to Staples and got a notebook and a pen, or if you went to TJ Maxx and picked up a notebook like how I picked up this one. That all needs to be written down and recorded somewhere. You need to know exactly how much is going out and how much is coming in. If you have not started your business yet, this is actually great for you because you're getting all of these mistakes up front so that you don't make them. Other people, like me, I made the mistakes, and then on the back end, now I'm like, okay, let me tell other people about this so they don't waste the time that I wasted or waste the money that I wasted, which is actually what happens with this. More so often with this revenue profit thing, like if you do not track this, then you'll feel like you're making money and you'll look in your bank account and be like, where's all my money that I made that last month? So that's what really happens with that. Also in this step is focusing on the revenue model. How are you going to make money? How? You need to have some type of plan on how you're going to profit. So if you say, okay, I'm really good at writing resumes. All right, now let's talk about how that can make you money. You can offer resume, that's not a word. You can offer resume writing services. You can offer a revamp your resume service. You can teach classes on how to build your resume. That is your revenue model. That is a specific list of how you plan to monetize your passion. Now, if you are just starting out and you don't have this piece, this is what would be good for you. You can get on a consultation call with a business coach because I would do it for you. I'm not a coach. I'm a business consultant and I'm a teacher. I would do it for you, but I don't do consultation. So this is what you can do. If you are watching this video right now, you can send me an email at thespoiledwriter@gmail.com, thespoiledwriter@gmail.com. My email address is extremely long. You can send me an email, send me a list of things you are passionate about, and I will send you a way of how you can profit off of that so that you have a revenue model. Because if you come to any of my classes via webinar, any of my in-person workshops, you'll at least need to have the how of how you plan to make money. You'll at least need to have the revenue model piece, and then you can work and build from there. So if you do not have that yet, and all you know is what you're passionate about or what you're interested in learning about, or what your natural talents and abilities are, send me that list at thespoiledwriter@gmail.com, and I will send you a little synopsis, a little revenue model. Number 6, looking at marketing as an expense versus an investment. Marketing is an investment, guys. It really is an investment. I know people think, okay, oh man, I'm going to have to spend $20 on marketing this month. I really want to use that $20 to get a new shirt or to get a new pair of jeans. But it's an investment. If you spend that $20 in the right place, you're actually going to see a return on your investment, meaning you are going to get your money back. You may see this written in a lot of places as ROI. People shorten it and call it ROI, or call it Roy. Yeah, we could call it Roy. That makes it sound like a person though. I don't want to confuse you. But people write it as ROI. It stands for return on investment. So for example, if I go on Facebook and I spend $20 in ad, the analytics on the ad are going to tell me exactly how many people clicked on it, and then I can see on my end who made a purchase off of that ad. So if that ad is promoting a product that's $20 and I spend $20 on that ad, as long as I get one person to buy, I've balanced out my money. It's almost like I never spent anything to begin with. Actually, no, it's not almost like. It's like you never spent anything to begin with. And that's why it's important, like I said, in step number 5. Why did it take me so long to find that? Like I said, in step number 5, that's why it's so important to know what you have going out and what you have coming in. So you got to know that stuff. So look at the marketing as an investment and be very strategic with what you spend your money on. If you don't have a clear way to make money, like if you have no revenue model, or if you're not clear on what you do and you skip those first few things I just talked about, and then you go straight to spending money on marketing, then your money may go down the drain. It's about an 80% chance that money is going to be wasted because there's no not clarity. That's not a word. There's no clarity. You guys are getting me unedited, like literally unedited, because I wanted to give you guys an experience of what it would be like to see me live. So I'm not even editing this video. Anyways, you want to have clarity, because it's like if you're attracting customers and then they're confused, they're definitely not going to buy. It's better to attract 10 customers and they know exactly what you do than to attract 100 customers and have a crowd of confused people. So it's an expense. It's an investment, not an expense. Number 7, expanding fast without systems. This is where I got in my start in the business world for myself. There are a lot of people that go into business and they grow really fast. And it's a great problem to have, to be growing too fast. Like to wake up and say, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. I mean, you're blessed. Like, be glad there's money in your bank account. But it is still stressful. So you have to have systems in place to help you as you grow so that you don't overwhelm yourself and so that you don't have burnout. For example, if you work a 9 to 5 and you come home every day at night from your 9 to 5 and you eat dinner, play with the kids, do homework, whatever you do, and then you work on your business, but there's no parameters there, there's no set schedule there for you, you're probably going to burn out because there's no system in place for you to have a work-life balance. So systems are not just email management systems. They're not just sales funnels. They're not just how do you acquire new clients. Those are systems, but there's also way more basic systems like, okay, I need to dedicate 6 hours this week to my business. Let me schedule out where these 6 hours are going to be so that I don't stress myself out. So that's a system of you balancing your life. So as you grow, you're going to need that more and more. You're going to need to put those boundaries in place for yourself. And then you're also going to need to go into the technical side, like what I said before, which was how are you going to acquire emails? Have you set up a MailChimp? Do you have a website so that you can be making sales 24/7, even when you're not online? Because just trying to make sales with your social media and through your direct messages is very limiting, because you can't sit on your direct messages all day. Like, you have a life and you most likely have a job. So there's no way you can just be checking your inbox every 5 to 10 minutes. I hope you're not at work checking your inbox every 5 to 10 minutes. So you have to have a system in place where people can contact you, interact with your business, how people can buy products from you, and so on and so forth. So you have to install those as you expand and as you grow, starting from the beginning. Number 8, not delegating tasks sooner. This gets people, like, this really gets people. If you're starting a business, I understand you want to do it all. I understand you want to be involved in every single piece of your business. You can do that. But sometimes your time is worth more than money. For real. You're going to realize as you start to lose your time, because when you first start out, you're going to have to spend a lot of time building your business. So time is going to become more valuable to you. Time, like, as a normal person that's not an entrepreneur, let's be honest. Like, if you took a survey, you'd probably say time is more valuable than money, because that's what people want to hear. But honestly, as a normal person, you kind of weigh it out and you're like, I don't know, I'd rather have a little bit more money than time. But when you become an entrepreneur and your time is money, your time is literally money, you're like, okay, I don't know, I'd rather have the time. Because time becomes really important. The less you have of it, the higher value it has. That applies to that's a life lesson. I just dropped a life lesson. The less you have of something, the higher value it holds. So as you lose your time and your ability to have free time, your time becomes more valuable. And so with that being said, if there are things that you don't know how to do, or things that are difficult for you to learn, or things that you majorly struggle with, outsource it, outsource it, outsource it. Don't let that small stuff stress you out, because you cannot be stressed while you're trying to grow your business and while you're trying to make money. It's literally going to throw you over the edge. So, for example, if you do not like writing, then pay someone else to write for you, because what's going to take you, let's say you have to write a blog post, 500-word blog post. If you are not good at writing and you're stressing about it, it's probably going to take you 3 or 4 hours to write that blog post, when you could pay somebody $20 and they can write it for you in 30 minutes. So would you not rather have those 3 or 4 hours of time and just give that person the $20 or $30 it costs to have that blog post written? Yeah, you probably would, now that I'm comparing it like directly like this. So outsource the things you're not good at. If you don't know how to build a website, outsource it. And let me say this, as you're starting, you're going to want to save money. Completely understandable. You need to at least try first. Before you outsource, you need to try to do those things. So you need to try to write the blog post before you pay somebody else to write it. Try to do it yourself. Before you pay somebody else to do a website, try to do it yourself, because that's going to give you just a better understanding of what is going on in your business. You need to at least try. I have people come to me all the time and ask me for things, and I do ask them, like, have you tried it yet? Like, what have you tried so far? Because I want you to be able to understand really what you're getting and understand the value. So if you've never written a blog post before and all you've ever done is pay somebody for it, you don't really understand the value of what you're getting. It's a lot more rewarding for you to pay that person to write that blog post for you once you know how hard it is to do or how struggle it is to do. Now, if that's easy for you, cool, do it yourself. If you got the time, cool, do it yourself. But don't make the mistake of thinking you have to do it all yourself. You have to run your whole business by yourself. Don't make that mistake. There are other people out there that are literally there just for assistance, like virtual assistants. Anyways, VAs. They're virtual. They're there literally to take things off your plate and make it more plausible and more realistic for you to run a business and still have a life. So Delegate the task. Number 9, following the industry norm. Man, following the industry norm. You don't have to do something just because everyone else is doing it. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I want to sell hair. Why? Because everyone else is doing it. But you have so many other talents that are so valuable, and all you want to do is sell hair. Stressing me out, man. I get direct messages all day from people that want to sell hair. But then they have these like crazy side talents like, I'm a nurse. Why don't you start a healthcare business? It doesn't have to be you being somebody's doctor, being somebody's nurse. It could be just a health blog. It could be little health kits that you send out to families so they can try new healthy foods or try new at-home remedies. Like, get creative. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you get creative. I just need to know what you're good at and what your natural talents and abilities are. And that's why I said earlier in this live, you could send me an email and I'll tell you how you can make money off of it. But yeah, come on guys. You don't have to do it just because everyone else is doing it. You don't have to sell t-shirts just because everyone else is selling t-shirts. Like, think about what you're passionate about. Think about what you really enjoy doing. And I can take you from idea to reality. That's what I do, from idea to reality. That's why I'm a consultant and not a coach. Okay. Number 10, shiny object syndrome. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. A lot of people get distracted. This kind of tags along with the starting other businesses too soon. Like, it's a huge mistake that will hinder you as an entrepreneur when you start a business and then you're like, oh, but I want to go do that. And you run off and do that. And you're there for 2 or 3 months. And then you're like, oh, I want to go do that. And you run off and start something else. And you only have that for 2 or 3 months. And then what do you have at the end of the year or at the end of your life? A bunch of really short projects that never really amounted to anything. Some of y'all are like, oh my gosh, that's my life. Oh my gosh, I do that in my life. Okay, so it stops today. It stops today. No shiny object syndrome. Pick something, stick with it. It's going to be highs. There's going to be lows. It's going to be like a roller coaster. But I promise you, if you stick with it and you follow the things that I'm telling you to do and you really invest your time and your heart and your soul and your passion and you're dedicated to hard work, it will succeed. That's it. It's the law of attraction. Believe it. It will come to fruition. So don't run around and have shiny object syndrome and have a whole bunch of small unfinished things floating around. It's like not good for you. Number 11, last but not least, taking the eye off of the receivables. The receivables, the benefits, the end goal. This is why people make vision boards, because their end goal is literally visually in front of their face. So don't take your eye off the receivables. If you need to make a vision board, do so. If you really only have like one thing that you really want, or if you really want to take that dream vacation, print a picture out, put it in front of your desk, put it next to your bathroom mirror. Don't take your eye off of the end goal. It will get you there. Seeing those things visually is a lot more powerful than people who give it credit for. It's so powerful. All right, guys, so those are my 11 common mistakes to avoid when starting a small business. I'm going to go back over all 11 to recap for you. Make sure you got them all written down. Number 1, not validating your business model. Number 2, not adjusting to what customers want. Number 3, starting other businesses too soon. Number 4, not having a clear elevator pitch. Number 5, focusing on revenue instead of profits, or not having a clear revenue model. That's the one where you can send me the email. Number 6, looking at marketing as an expense versus an investment. Number 7, expanding fast without systems. Number 8, not delegating tasks sooner. Number 9, following the industry norm. Number 10, shiny object syndrome. And number 11, taking the eye off of the receivables. You gotta avoid these things. If you avoid these things, you will be a very productive entrepreneur. I promise y'all, I promise. All right, I'll see you guys later, whether it's in an in-person workshop or in a class. I'll see you later. It was awesome talking to you.